and because there was technically two AEW segments on tonight's show, and we're gonna talk about both. The first one had Tony Khan kind of murked. You know, he's a little not happy to be there, kind of thing. It was a quote unquote paid advertisement. It was Tony Schiavone introducing
I'm on.
Tony Khan, and then the two talked about basically Schiavone's brief tenure in the company, which it wasn't anything to write home about. It was like a single episode, but it was also one of those things where with Tony Khan, he talked about how he wanted to help out Impact and how he paid for the advertising, but he was also kind of being a little bit dickish about it. And I didn't know if that was who he is, generally speaking, or if it was misinterpreted, or if maybe he was trying to heal it up. That was a bit perplexing to me. We also got some AEW highlights to open the show, and right before the Kenny stuff. But heading into the presser, if you will, the interview that was touted all night, it was going to be Josh Matthews sitting down with Don Callis and Kenny Omega to talk about why Kenny, is here in Impact and all this nonsense. And basically what we ended up getting was Don Callis explaining that this was 27 years in the making. Doesn't really make any sense, but whatever. And that Kenny Omega likes comic books because he likes collecting things. And now he might like to collect titles. And he's looking at Impact as possibly being the next title he wants to collect. He then kind of makes mention that he's on Impact to hype up a bigger announcement on Dynamite. So I'm kind of sitting here like,
Dinkelberg.
right? Like, listen, I'm going to watch Impact regardless. I'm not sitting here mad about it. But, like, you spent 2 hours hyping up, yeah, if you want to know what I'm really going to do, tune in tomorrow. And if he comes in tomorrow going, you didn't want to know what I'm really going to do, tune in next week. Like, oh, my God, I don't care anymore. So he makes an allusion. He makes a reference, a possible kind of situation. And he basically says, listen, if you want a hint, here's the hint, Lex Express and Lex Luger. The only thing I gleaned from that is one of, two things. One or three things. One, Lex Luger slamming Yokozuna on a battleship. Two, Lex Luger screaming about Super Slam Saturday, Super Brawl Saturday, and then ripping his shirt going, I don't know! Wasn't even a WCW promo. Most iconic promo of his career, and it happened in some indie. The other thing that makes me kind of allude to is him popping up on Impact after popping up on something like Dark. Because Luger did that whole thing where he was on, I think it was SummerSlam. Yeah, I think he was in a tag match with Bulldog. And then, like, the next night, he was on Nitro. So I'm thinking, like, that's kind of what he's alluding to. I don't know what else it could be with Luger. Unless he's trying to allude to the fact that you can't trust him because Luger always betrayed Sting. So, there's the hand-in-hand with that. I don't know. Like, I feel like Luger now. I don't know! Because I don't know where this is going, and I don't know what this is leading to, but considering Tony Khan's little commercial promo, I have to imagine this is more than just a promo. Khan even said something like, the dirt sheet said that I was going to buy Impact or something to that effect. And Kenny Omega's talking about chasing titles. So, who knows what's going to happen. Now, someone said, well, they could merge. They're not going to merge. One, because Access TV is owned by Anthem, and Anthem's not giving up their biggest TV property for their network. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Two, they're not going to merge because what the fucking point is there? Like why would AEW, who has enough cash flow issues sans COVID, put more financial strain on themselves by bringing in another 40 wrestlers. That doesn't make any sense. So this doesn't make a lot of sense, but maybe, just maybe, we'll be getting more Kenny Omega. But Marcus, even though it wasn't all that riveting, it was highly effective. Brian, no, not Brian. Brian Alvarez said something to the effect like, the Nielsen ratings are dead. Like, who still uses Nielsen ratings to gauge this kind of stuff? And he's got a point, because Impact usually got about 2, 3, 4, 5,000 people a show on Twitch. Their peak, I think, was 18,000. It was 52,000 people watching Impact tonight on Twitch alone. So if you did the numbers, just general comparisons, let's just assume that everyone who didn't have Access TV watched on Twitch. It's an assumption. It's not accurate, but let's just assume. With the ratio of usual viewers to today's viewers, if you were to do that on Impact had its highest rated Access TV Nielsen number last week, 150,000. Again, it's not accurate. The Nielsen ratings are obsolete as hell, and they've been obsolete for 20 years. But, if we take the number 150, and we look at last week's number, which was about 4,000, I think, or 3,000, you take the ratio 52 to 3. What is that? Hang on, let's do a little math. 52 divided by 3. That's about 17. So we combine that by 150. That's 2.6 potential million viewers. Could it be tuning in if the ratio holds up? I'm not saying the ratio is going to hold up. Like, I don't know. But it just kind of gives you an idea. Like, if the ratio of 150 to about 3,000 holds up, then you're looking at 2.6 million people probably tuned in. Possibly. I don't know. We'll see. The Nielsen ratings aren't accurate, and they're journal and boxed forms, but you could be looking at a pretty big number.
Yeah, like you said, at the end of the day, we're going to watch regardless, because we're not casual Impact viewers. And like I said, they delivered on the solid show as always. It didn't feel like they phoned it in, because this show was all leading to one thing. But I gotta admit, and like you said, we don't know where this is going. This could be, just a small building block to something huge. That's the hope, but you never know. But I have to admit, during the segment, I turned it off halfway through because I got bored. I'm like, okay, they're gonna cock tease this, and when he does say something, it's probably not gonna be nothing big, because you kind of just felt that they were just kind of yanking it along. Like, I like to hear Don Callis talk as much as the next guy, and Kenny's far more interesting than he's been for most of his tenure in AEW, but like the cock tease thing, like I wasn't here for it. I had kind of got what I needed out of the show, and then they did this. I'm like, they got how many minutes left? They're dragging this out, and then we get to, I'm going to AEW for even bigger now. So I'm like, okay, get the F off my TV. I'm like, get the F off my screen. I'm good.
It certainly did kind of lead to that. I will say, though, the show overall was solid. Tommy Dreamer has kind of taken that the Stinger kind of morality center, if you will. He's like, you can't trust these guys. Kenny, and Callis has always been kind of like, looks out for himself. And I've seen this before. You cannot trust these guys. And D'Amore's like, listen, he this was taped days ago, but he called. He's like, the numbers are great, Tom. Wait, calm down. So Dreamer's really hyping up on this. You can't trust these guys. You can't trust these guys. You can't trust these guys. So there has to be more to this. And I think what was interesting was Dreamer, D'Amore, Madison Rain, Matthews, Rich Swann, and Random Security Guy all came in to film new stuff. Because there was a reason why it was in a bus and not in the arena. And that's because they're filmed. Like, they've been filmed for a few weeks now.
In the can.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have all the stuff already done, so you're bringing in Omega to insert the content now, and it's a nice move. It was well done. They put together a nice little kind of package of things to interwind this into the show. And frankly, if this happened during the Dixie era, they would have had this 3 weeks from now. And I'm not trying to knock on the Dixie era, but You got to
No,
remember, they were going to crown their biggest new world champion in years in EC3, and they did it on the episode before Slammiversary, or on the taping before Slammiversary.
I mean, it's, in the Dixie era, this would have aired maybe a week after Kenny dropped the belt back to Moxley in a random type of screw thing. Like it was all over the place. But look at what the company had to do with all that stuff. They basically had to rework damn near the entire company around the broken Mat World stuff
Mm-hmm.
because of stuff that was going on. So they've been great, even though I think Bull Rash had a lot to do with that. And he's obviously elsewhere now. They've gotten really good at doing this kind of stuff. And like I said, some of the strongest stuff, ironically enough, has been some of this court stuff, the Wrestle House stuff, that they've been pulling off. Even going back to stuff they was doing with, I wish she was still there, but obviously they went off to do more stuff, the whole smoke show stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So they've got so good with, pivoting and getting real creative with stuff that would otherwise come off corny and making it like a real cohesive part of a larger show. But like you said, I was fully satisfied with the show. Like the like you said, to sit down, like Scott D'Amore backstage works for me. I don't necessarily like him in 3 to 4 segments on the actual like in ring parts of the show, but backstage in those conference room stuff, he's hilarious. Like the whole thing of like, even Lance Storm likes it. He doesn't like anything. He's never happy about anything. Like little great sit downs like that he works in. Obviously, like you said, Tommy Dreamer has been one of the most consistent things in terms of a backstage character, working with guys in different avenues this year. The stuff with all the stuff with Rohit and TJP, who I 100% turned it off his match with um what's his face, but Brian Myers. But all that stuff with Moose, that stuff with Moose and Chris Bay was phenomenal. Like, it was damn near a 3-on-1 match. But yeah, I mean, like I said, the show was solid. It's just, yeah, I'm like, oh, we kind of built up for this. Okay, all right. But like I said, at the end of the day, if this got numbers, which it did to the show, and people that actually come back for a lot of those numbers, then watch that Tony Khan say myself like a little part of it. But I'm kind of good on having to sit down and listen to Tony Khan. Nothing personal against the guy. I'm kind of good on that.
So I think one of the interesting things about all this is, even if it's just 10%, that's 5,000 people. You're going to see an increase from 5,000 to 10,000 every week, and I don't know how people can see that as a bad thing. So I think all in all, it was a successful night. It teased some interesting things, and we'll see where things go from here. So yeah. I'm trying to organize things as we're doing stuff. Maybe not the best time to be doing all this.
Me and Chad just sitting back and suffering, having to watch Eddie be driven back to madness after all the propping up and all the celebration about him finally.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I love Eddie Sammy as a feud, and I think it's going to be. I think it's the new Daniel.
No, I 100%. No, look, crazy. Like, I wasn't like vetoing crazy Eddie. Like, I appreciate when people have to fully commit to stuff like that. And he's always committed, specifically when he did it the first time. But we just wanted more of a run with him in the title. Maybe they'll circle back around to that. But like you said, they came in to film new stuff, and I liked it. Like the whole concept of Swan basically being told, "You're not on the VIP, champ."
So
like that's some good stuff.
It was good stuff. But I do want to switch gears because this is just the dumbest shit ever. We had to talk about Joey Ryan.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
like, can we talk about Swoggle?
Well, unfortunately, this is kind of pertinent. It's just kind of one of those things, man. I hate to do it to you. So apparently, I'm trying to find the fucking story. Where the hell did it go? There we go. Apparently, Joey Ryan is trying to seek a judgment against Impact over the lawsuit According to Mike Johnson, a PW Insider, Joey Ryan is requesting judgment in his favor from Circuit Court of Davidson County, Tennessee, claiming Impact had 30 days with an additional 30-day extension to respond to his lawsuit filed on September 24th. In their response made on December 4th, Impact Wrestling denied all of the allegations against him, argued that Ryan's contract ran through August of 2021 unless earlier terminated. In defense of his client, Joey Ryan's lawyer stated that Impact is not an incompetent or a minor, but failed to answer the lawsuit in an appropriate amount of time, and therefore they feel justified in their attempt to seek justice. Justice! Sid Justice. So basically what this means is they're filing a lawsuit against Impact. And because they feel that Impact has not appropriately responded or shown up to court to have it out, so to speak, what Joey Ryan and his lawyer are trying to do is demand that the judge rule in their favor, hence seeking a judgment. The problem is there's really no grounds to force this, mostly because they did respond. And they're kind of citing, well, it's not good enough for us, so it shouldn't be good enough for you, the court. Now, the court will respond probably by the end of the year, and we'll go from here. But the thing that really baffles me now is, well, Marcus, would you like to take a guess on which direction Joey Ryan has gone since he got outed as the biggest pervert, biggest illegal pervert in wrestling history? Just take a stabberooning and think to yourself, which direction has Joey Ryan gone? Has he gone Pornhub?
Well,
Has he gone caterer to the stars? What do you think?
It was, well, not to, well, I mean, it's a little bit on the nose, allowing the sexual reference to a pervert, but somewhere in a downward spiral direction. Has Joey Ryan started an OnlyFans account?
No, unfortunately, Marcus, you went the other way. Joey Ryan is a born-again Christian now.
You couldn't have paid me. Has he found God? It makes sense, but okay.
In his banner on Twitter, or his little sub-paragraph thing on Twitter, underneath his @ all of us like sheep have strayed away. We have left God's path to follow our own. Yet the Lord laid on him the sins of us all. Isaiah 35:6. Chad 34:14 says, I'm hungry. I'm so hungry. I got KFC in the fridge. So I'm going to be having some more of that later tonight. As I'm rooting for the Ravens to get their teeth kicked in by the Cowboys because, you know, I'm Brown's writer, and also, you know, I got. He has gone full religious on Twitter. He's retweeting evangelisticals or whatever they're fucking called. He's retweeting preachers to the stars like Zoe Church of L.A. You know, he's really going hard on this.
No pun.
What's that?
No pun intended.
Yeah, no pun intended. He's really going full on into this born again. Everything is better. Everything is good. I can't be this bad guy because I'm a religious person. La, da, 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 da. So this is a 100%. Some of you may be like, "Oh, Chad, didn't know that." This is 100% a image a changeover for his upcoming court battles. Joey Ryan couldn't have done all these things he's accused of. He's a man of God. As a Catholic, I can tell you that don't mean shit.
Chad, if you come over here and grab these binoculars, in the distance you can see a bull out in the pasture shitting.
Ironically enough, on a photo of Joey Ryan, because he's full of it. So this is going to be one of those things that will be interesting to play out, because usually what happens with this is you start to see people kind of crack. And I'm going to call a very infamous now moment from, I think, even earlier this year, maybe end of last year, where R. Kelly had an interview. And you could tell that through his claims of, I'm a good man, I'm a godly man, he starts to slip, and he starts to kind of
Mm-hmm.
expose himself. Who was that? Hoda?
Mm-hmm.
Was that the name of the woman who was doing the interview?
Robin Roberts.
Robin Roberts. Thank you. So Robin is sitting there like, I've interviewed you 1,000 fucking times. Can we stop pretending I don't know you? And she's like,
He literally.
what's his name? Ron? Is that R. Kelly's real name? Reginald? Robert? Robert. That's what it was. Because she kept going, Robert's down.
He
Robert.
literally throws a a mantrum. He threw a man tantrum. And she did not move. She sat there and was just Robert. It's the funniest damn thing. It's sad, but it's hilarious at the same time.
Very much expect Joey Ryan to go down that route, because Joey Ryan has started to, he started to kind of go off the beaded path, so to speak. When you're forced to confront yourself, and the facade comes down after years of lies, what usually ends up happening is your mental state deteriorates quite rapidly because you're heading towards a breakdown. Your entire visage has been destroyed publicly. Every lie you've told yourself to this point to get you through your day has been robbed from you. Now you have no crutch. It's like that dad who's always like, I could beat him up, and then the guy who he's always talking about, I could beat him up, then he gets his ass beat by that guy. Now he's just miserable and alone because the one lie he had to really keep himself going was gone. Jake Paul, have fun with that.
Yeah, it's like if Nate Robinson went on like 15 interviews
after
that fight he was cheated. That's basically what.
Oh my God. Why must we slander Nate Robinson so often? So he posted a photo here. I think it kind of just defines who he is. It's a passage from Alice in Wonderland. But I don't want to go among mad people, said Alice. Oh, you can't help that, said the cat. We're all mad here. I'm mad, you're mad. How do you know I'm mad, asked Alice. You must be, said the cat, or you wouldn't have come. So clearly Joey Ryan he's in a healthy space. And he's in a healthy space because he's literally muted all of his tweets from being commented on. So there's that. He's really trying to he's really trying to hit like the I'm a good guy notes. He's got like, happy Thanksgiving, happy Halloween. Hey, it's election day, go vote. When Tracy Smothers passed away, he posted about that. When Kylie Ray retired from wrestling, he posted about that and said, hey, good luck. So like he's doing all the right notes. But the problem is when you're doing it with the eyes of the world on you, you're not hitting the right notes. Bitch, you auto-tuned. We know this is fake. And I cannot wait for the day when Joey Ryan has to admit in front of the world that he is the monster we see him as. Because otherwise, I don't know what his life is going to look like. And I don't know what my life is going to look like. Because I really want this bastard to go down.
Yeah, hopefully we're in far better spaces and you're still eating KFC like you deserve. But
Marcus, if I have a heart attack from eating KFC tonight, you're going to feel real bad about that statement. Like you deserve. Like, on one hand, when you said it, it was really nice. Like, man, I know you like your KFC. I hope you have some. But, like, if I die from it, you're going to be like, oh, God, that was the wrong thing to say. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe you know something.
That's never the worst. If anything, I feel like you'd overdose on a workload, not food. Because I know you.
Fucking nearly did that.
Oh, exactly. So, but yeah, look, we thankfully we don't know this guy from a can of paint. And maybe he is trying to turn over a new leaf, but the problem is him going to God and him, getting on a more enlightened path does not void him for taking responsibility for the clearly effed up stuff that he's done.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, he needs to really sit down with himself and, really sit in front of that mirror and confront himself. Because, that's the whole point of this. You can tell yourself 1,000 times and read every, the Quran and the Bible and this, that, and the third. But unless you really make fundamental changes, you're just gonna do the same stuff just in different ways, or do a different type of effery and just use a religious faith to cover it all now. Because most people, won't go after somebody who, is promoting God, stuff like that. Like he knows it's a sensitive thing. So, like you said, the guy's a scumbag. If he's trying to do better, good on him. But like I said, that does not void him from being raked through the coals for what he did. Like everybody else, he wasn't the only one. That was the biggest story of the year. Or one of. You should go to the website and check out our wrestling, end of the year awards. Swisher said we took a very long time to come up with it. Some great lists, but yeah, man. I mean, look, I get it. A lot of people go to God when stuff get tight, but you need to be praying for yourself as much as you, I guess, you're praying for other people now. So,
So, I'm just scrolling through his timeline so you can realize what kind of things he's saying to put out there. He retweeted Brian Cage, who said something to the effect like, "Can't stand the negative onslaught of Twitter bashing and bullying," in response to a video from a woman named Vanessa, aka Gothics on Gothics TV on Twitter. And I'm not listening to the video, obviously, because you would hear it, and I don't want to have extra sound on the audio. But basically, her tweet says, "Cancel culture is not a form of accountability. Let's put an end to this malicious practice by learning how to properly communicate our grievances." I like what she's saying. That's valid. I think if you make a mistake, you should be allowed to atone for it. Our criminal justice system is built on that idea, though it is a flawed execution. But atonement and forgiveness needs to be things in our culture that we embrace on a daily basis, because we've all made mistakes. If you don't better yourself, then that's when you can come down with the hammer of God on their heads. But if they're trying, cool beans. That's if you offend, upset, or insult someone. If you commit a crime, specifically a felony, we ain't canceling you. You've canceled yourself. More accurately, there is a process that one must go through to atone for your sins. Not even a ethical, theological sin. I mean, like, the crimes you committed against your fellow man need to be atoned for. That means maybe prison time, maybe a lot of prison time, maybe a lot of prison time. Now, Joey Ryan can be a changed man. I will allow for that wisdom to be injected into his life. Yeah. But just because you are changed does not mean you don't still owe a tab. Listen, you bought a round of drinks. Cool. You still owe the bartender 20 grand. One round ain't going to change that. Joey Ryan.
But no.
What's that?
You're like, well, no, wait. I stopped drinking. I don't. That's the Deuce Bigelow thing.
I'm no longer an alcoholic. I'm good. Joey, you still have to atone for your crimes against women and some men. You still need to stand in front of a judge, jury, maybe just a judge. You can do that. In the American justice system, you have the right to a speedy trial without a jury. That's your right. I don't know how you want to do it, but you could. But you still need to stand and let judgment be passed down upon you. Now, yes, maybe your immortal soul will be judged, upon death, and maybe St. Gabriel or St. Peter or whomever is working the door that day will be like, "All right, Joey, you did your 68 Hail Marys and your 142 Our Fathers. You're good. Come on in." But until that day, you got to stand up and attest and own your own actions in the court of law. Yes, man may not be able to judge your immortal soul, but bitch, while you here, we get a piece of it.
Yeah, that's another great shirt. But yeah, look, man, you're drinking cranberry juice now, phenomenal. But you set up a tab at this bar with 50 dirty martinis on it. You own that tab, G.
Mm-hmm.
You own the tab. Sorry, dudes. But yeah, man, look, I think you might have seen this on Twitter over the weekend or something where McConaughey was trending for some stuff he said regarding some stuff in politics, and I think he got interviewed by Russell Brand. He said something to the fact that like both sides, left, right, are like kind of so far off the, so far off road that they're damn near just completely in the dirt on both sides, and you're like, they kind of need to meet somewhere in the middle. That's fine, and that is a good sentiment in terms of having disagreements and differences and forms of opinion. But when it comes to, like you said, these type of crimes, sexual assault or stuff like that, and I'm not gonna speak for Chad, but I'm not trying to meet no pedo in the middle, though.
Listen, I'll meet a pedo in the middle because I got a kiddie pool filled with water to introduce him in head first. We talk about this before, like with Mike Tyson. Like I wouldn't say I'm a huge Mike Tyson fan, but I root for the guy. But he is a convicted rapist, and he's admitted to it. But the difference between a Mike Tyson and Joey Ryan is Mike Tyson spent time in prison. Mike Tyson's been through therapy. Mike Tyson today is not who he was 30 years ago. And as someone who's been around for most of his career, I can tell you, being in third or fourth grade, talking on the blacktop before we go into school about how Mike Tyson bit off a man's ear. We were talking about that. No normal person does that at all. But you look at him after his fight with Roy Jones, he's like, man, this gave me life. Like, I felt so good out there. Like, I want to do this again, and it was for charity. And yes, like, more. I need this. Completely different person. He used to talk about, praising Allah and eating children. That was a famous line from him. I'll eat your children. He's not that guy anymore. But he's done the work, Like, he's a cautionary tale, but he's also one of inspiration because, like, look at him. He's 180'd. He's vastly different. And we talked about this before. There's that guy, he's a black jazz musician who spent time with members of the Klan. And because of his, compassion and willingness to listen, he brought them over from their racist ways into a far more open-minded, place and collected their robes as trophies. He's a badass. I love that dude. But for Joey Ryan, like, you got some coals to cross over, homie, and you ain't got shoes to wear to do it. And if you don't do it, you ain't going to be forgiven. Now, I do think there's a place to be forgiven, but man, what's that old adage?
Yeah.
You got miles to go before you sleep. Joey, you got miles and miles of hot coals to cross before you're ever forgiven in the eyes of man.
Look, man, it's 100% room for both accountability and redemption. Mm-hmm. But oftentimes one has to come before the other. Mm-hmm. And, one of my favorite scenes from Arrow comes from, by me and Chad's, one of our favorite seasons, season 5, that last confrontation with Chase when and this is some phenomenal acting by Stephen Amell when he goes, that's who I was. That's who I was before. That's not who I am now. And that, that speaks to, like you said, stuff with Tyson, and we can go down another list of celebrities who genuinely seem like they've changed, and we can see that through not only their words but their actions. But in this case, man, it just kind of seems like he's trying to find a scapegoat, in this case, a holy one. Mm-hmm. So, kind of ride out this storm, and it's like, dude, no, man, like you brought this tsunami on yourself. Now you got to stand here and take this wave. And, hope that somebody can bring your ass a towel when it's over with. And if not, you got to go find one on your own. But, like you said, you got to get to the point where, in his mind, because for a lot of these people, what they did wasn't wrong. They just got caught. Mm-hmm. Kind of go that Hogan thing where, the New Day, Hogan New Day thing was like, it's not that, we got anything against the guy. It's just basically he seems disingenuous because basically he stood up in front of a room full of people instead of genuinely conveying his sorrow for his actions and words. He just was like, don't get caught. He's like, okay, thanks. You clearly self-absorbed and probably racist guy, So you got to make the differentiation between those people, because a lot of people that get to skirt a lot of this stuff because of the positions they in, the people they know, and a lot of those, and the time for a lot of those guys is coming up,
Thy reckoning is upon you. Yeah, but let's be clear. If you're a pedo, I'm just gonna drown you. Like, nah, I'm good. Well, and to be clear, a pedo is a specific age range, and that's what makes That's why I hate the bastardization of the English language in the 21st century. Because being a pedo isn't being into a 17-year-old. You can find that morally repugnant. That's fine. But it's like, don't tell me that you got slapped in the face and that's the worst thing you've ever been through if you've also been shot in the stomach. There are degrees of awful. Being into a 17-year-old, gross. Being into a 6-year-old, I'm killing you with my hands around your throat. Because there's a stark difference in so many avenues. And so when I look at Joey Ryan, I think to myself, yeah, I want to beat you almost to death. Not completely, though. Like, what's that line in Princess Bride? Mostly dead? I want to beat Joey Ryan mostly dead. Like, he hasn't crossed the apex to death, but I still want to make him feel like he's touching the Grim Reaper's fingers. Like, I'm just introducing you to what happens next on your date is up to you.
Yeah, like a little mild, like varying degrees with Joe and Ryan, because we're not calling him a pedo. I just use that as an example. But varying degrees with Joe and Ryan of Chuck Norris to Steven Seagal. But with the pedo, what did Brain say? No, brother. They must find one of us in the wreckage. Go find your ass in the wreckage.
Nope. Right now, my throat is so hoarse, I don't think I could do a Bane voice. God. So I'm pulling up a list of paraphilias, which is, I guess, the appropriate term. Let's see. I think it's in the P's. Apparently, a pedovesticism is someone who dresses up like a child. Just learn new shit every day, apparently. Wikipedia, what
just
are
keeps
you
getting
on?
Worse. just keep getting worse.
Right? I guess that's like a step better because it's you dressing up, like, right? Like, I guess.
I don't have it in me to perform. So thankfully, I don't have it in me to actually do the crime. So I'm gonna dress as my object of affection. That's the closest to like the criminal version of Lenore.
It's like, I don't even know. So a epiphilia is someone who's attracted to the ages of 15 to 19, and a hebephilia is someone who's attracted to the ages of 11 and 14. I hope to God we can get to a place where we're using correct language. I'm a stickler for correct language. Marcus, it's why I never say it's been a minute since I talked to you. It's a literal measurement of time. Marcus, it's not been a minute. It's been about 5 days, 6 days?
Yeah. Look, I 100% get that. My mother's the same way with that. It's weird to me, and I'm glad we have, like you said, words are important because it helps us, obviously define things outright and differentiate. But like, I don't want to sit there and like, it's a room with 3 guys. There's a pedo, a hebo, and whatever the third one is. It's kind of like, hey, whoa, I'm not a pedo. I do from 11 to 14.
I'm not a pedo, I'm a heba. I'm not sure that's it's not better, but it's not as awful. Like, it's still bad, still terrible, still the worst. It's the second worst thing you can do. There is still one step higher.
You're like, hey, I'm Tony Hawk Pro Skater. He's Fisher Price. I don't do Fisher.
I'm Bratz Fisher Price. Oh, Jesus. Joey Ryan, you're a creep. Look what you make us talk about. I blame him. I blame him for everything. I saw a bumper sticker. So we got a Cane's. We actually got 2 Cane's now. Mark, you ever go to a Cane's before?
Yeah.
I am severely unimpressed. Everyone keeps telling me it's the best chicken fingers ever. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Arby's got some pretty good chicken fingers. But I went there, and the guy in front of me had a bumper sticker. I laughed my ass off. It was an election bumper sticker, but it said, Meteor 2020, just fucking end it. Just hit Joey Ryan first. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, because as soon as you said that, now all I could think about is the meteor, but as that big ice sledge from Austin Powers when the guy was like, no, but that's us.
Lasers. All right. So, other big news story of the day. We have a Goldberg's rumor, apparently. Once I figure out how to do this shit. There it is. Figured it out. Nope. Moving the wrong thing. Ooh, nope. Is that the right one? Nope. Nope, that's not it. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm terrible at this.
Yeah, I thought we were just gonna talk about one hardcore victim tonight when we mentioned Nate, but seeing as you brought up Goldberg, everybody continue to say put in your prayers for Nunzio. Like we always like to support here.
Just the are we ever going to move on from Nate? Is Nate always going to be in our collective conscience? I hope
I still
so.
think Nunzio holds. I still think Nunzio holds the cake because Nate got in the position that Nunzio was trying to get to because he's still in the process of being speared.
Nunzio has yet to actually finish the spearing process. Oh, goddamn. God, yeah, I finally got the right one. Oh, God, I'm awful at this. All right, so here we are. Rumor has it that one William J. Jonah Jameson Goldberg, I'm assuming that's his name, rumored to be coming back for his WrestleMania match with Roman Reigns, but only if Rock and Roman fall through. So, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Man, I love being a turtle. But also, I'm a big Goldberg fan. And we're going to talk about Sting and AEW here after this, because I want to hear your thoughts on that. But Marcus, you know, I'm a big Goldberg fan. I'm as big of a Goldberg fan as I am a Sting fan, to the point where I don't care if they can't wrestle. Do you think I care? Like, I don't care if Sting is 68, has a fake hip, and a robotic eye, and diabetes. I don't care if he's 102 and can't leave his wheelchair. I'm making him my goddamn champion. Bet.
It's so hilarious when you say that because I'm like, okay, Goldberg and Sting, this is like Chad's perfect like wrestling threesome, of course, with you in the middle. And it's like you put them two in a match now, regardless of what anybody else is think. I got to be a fly on the wall in Chad's house because I know he's looking up at that TV like the that childlike Puss in Boots face.
Yeah, right before he starts slaughtering people.
Oh man!
That every time I see Goldberg and Sting, that I'm like, yay! So, no one wants to see it but me. I'm the only one into it. I am the only one who's going to sit and go, no, bro, put it on Goldberg. And I'm okay with that. Everyone's like, well, he almost killed Undertaker. He's already dead. He's the dead man. It's fine. But I want to see Goldberg Reigns. And I don't want to just see it because, oh, yeah, Spears. I want to see it because, like, what if Goldberg's the one that unseats Reigns and does it, you know, does to Reigns what he did? I would love that. He beats Reigns like he beat Bray. Be still my giddy heart. I don't even care that the belt looks like, you know, came out of a Crayola box. I'm good. Put it on. Marcus, I know I'm in the minority. I don't even need to ask. Like, Marcus,
Nah, I mean,
how do you feel about Goldberg Reigns?
Look, man, Goldberg is a guilty pleasure, man. Like he's great in bursts and stuff. Like both these characters, we'll get to Sting, obviously, like you said momentarily, but they work. They just don't work necessarily on, you know, for extended periods and things that kind of draw off on the stamina. Like the best version of Goldberg that we got in recent years was that match with Brock, which was, you know, a quick, to the point, explosive, sudden impact, bang, bada bing, bada boom, and you out of there. But, you know, having them running the reigns, I think is intriguing. Well, one, it's kind of unfinished business because that basically got interrupted by Corona. So, you know, that was on the collision course, and maybe now it can be even better because Reigns is, you know, exploring this new character. He's more, you know, methodical and very much verbally expressive in what he does. So I think that could be tantalizing both on the mic and then in the ring, depending on how they go about delivering that match. Um, so I would like to see it. It'll be cool, and obviously Goldberg still has some gas in the tank. Obviously, I hope they give him heads up enough time because we know that he doesn't really work well when he's got a couple months to get ready. He kind of needs maybe almost 6 to 7 months in advance notice, which I get as the body ages. We saw that whole document with the Undertaker. It's like going through literal hell to get in any semblance of ring shape. So I'm kind of right there with you, man. I dig it. Specifically now against Reigns because it was different before. Reigns was so tired even after the leukemia stuff. His character was just worn out.
Mm-hmm.
But now different vibe. He got the Uso with him. He got Heyman with him. This is a whole different thing now. So I definitely check it out, and I always appreciate watching Goldberg's interest. I prefer his like early 2000s WWE music to his WCW thing, but that's just me. But yeah, yeah.
I never knew that about you. Now I'm really thinking our friendship.
Damn it.
I don't know. I've said some dumb shit in my life, so like, Marcus has like at least a dozen mulligans on me. Like, all right, that's one. You got 11 more, kid. Use them appropriately, because eventually you're gonna run out. I know, but I've run out.
But I think that's the line though, because you fell in love with Goldberg through WCW. That I missed that entire era.
Ah, that's right. I keep forgetting I'm a smidge older than you.
Yeah, so when I got to Goldberg, it was kind of like, oh, who's this guy? And then obviously I got the backstory and all the history after. So yeah, that's kind of what it is. But yeah, like I said, man, that's unfinished business. But I dig to see it.
And that trash skull tattoo on his under bicep for some reason. The first time I saw that, I'm like, why?
That's such an awkward place to have it too. Like, well, at least not on his neck.
At least it's not on his face. So let's talk about the other WCW relic that won't die, and I'm so goddamn glad for it. Sting is an AEW. I'm here for this. I don't care if he's 64. I don't care if he had spinal stenosis. I don't care if his hair is as gray as, well, the snow that was coming down during his introduction. I don't care. What I care about is he there? Yes. And when is he getting the belt, which is hopefully tomorrow. I don't care if Kenny Omega's doing a 2-year-long Impact feud. I don't care if you're going to set up, the Jungle Boy or the Barney character. What's his name? Lucha Barney, Barneysaurus. I love you. You squeeze me. We're all. Who cares? I don't care what you got in the can. What I want is Sting with the title. How long do I want it for? I did not say that there's an end date. You may close your company after he wins it because I will never take the belt off of him. I am a fanatic. And you have to understand that growing up, especially in like 98, 99, 2000, they were dicking him around with that belt for a long time, and it pissed me the hell off. Not so much in 2000 because it never really happened, but still. Like, what happened in Impact was great, but still not enough. I never got that 2-year-long feud that I always wanted. Oh, I needed it, man. And now let's do it. So, report out earlier today said that Sting intends to wrestle. Not even a little surprised about that. If he can get himself into some decent shape, I wouldn't be surprised. Because DDP, who has, I don't think he has spinal stenosis, but he's got something wrong with his neck. He got in there at 68, I think. So I'm not surprised. And let's be honest, with the Nielsen's, with the Nielsen ratings, we keep looking at things in kind of an archaic fashion. DDP 64. So not 68. He's a little bit younger than I thought, but just a smidge. But we keep looking at things we kind of look at like we used to look at things like from 20 years ago, like, oh yeah, 40. Sting's 61, by the way, not 64. Like 40's old. That's what we're told. 40's old. But we kind of look at things like that in kind of a kind of a different kind of mindset. We see things like Sting at 61, and we think to ourselves, God, that's really old. But is it, with today's modern medicine and all that we know about, you know, physical fitness and health and wellness and all that, is it really old? And I don't necessarily think so anymore. You know, we've raged the midlife portion of our existence to be quite dramatically different. So I don't see Sting at 61 going, he's too old. But I do think to myself that maybe that as a full-time worker, no, he's not gonna be able to hang in there with all these AEW guys. But in a tag team situation, like a 6-man tag, maybe like a one-off with Cody, like maybe. But Marcus, when you saw Sting in AEW, I think it was you who texted me like Sting's in AEW, and I was like, Marcus, that's two. There's that Goldberg comment, and now this. Like, that's two. Like, you got 10 more. Like, be careful. You're running through them pretty fast.
Like, one more strike on his YouTube channel is kaput, kid.
Oh. Well, you got 10 more, but I'm just saying, be careful. You're running through them pretty fast. Two in 20 minutes.
But it's funny because you and shout out to Swish. You and Swish did a great Wrestling Underground edition on the whole Sting and AEW crossover situation. It's funny because like I went back and listened. I'm like, damn it, I wish, because I was just so caught off guard by it, and I was like, am I really seeing Sting on the TV right now? That I think if I go back in time, my text would be like, okay, good news and bad news. Good news is Sting's back. Bad news is he's in AEW. But yeah, I mean, look, it was like I said, I kind of had to snap myself out of it at first because I didn't. It just was not what I was expecting. But it was good to see him. He taking that, no matter where he may be in age or where his body may be internally and physically or what have you. The aesthetic's always going to be great. Like the hair was looking great, the skin looked great, the paint, that jacket was sick. I mean, that raincoat was nice. Obviously, you had the bat and everything. The music was great. So, I think everything was. It's funny now. Also going back to the entrance thing, when they playing the video, now I almost need you to be like edited into the video when the crows come up and you just go, it's Sting. It's Sting.
I mean, was anyone surprised?
That was like mountains, snow. I was like, well, who the freak is this? I forgot who the name you was calling, but then he was like, crow. Oh, it's Sting. It's another crow. It's Sting. Oh, that was hilarious.
You know, I'm just pointing it out there. Like, y'all knew who it was. Like, why are we sitting there pretending like it's some kind of shock? Like,
yeah.
Come on.
I mean, look, when they drop people off to that WWE shop, it's real. They're gone.
Yeah.
When they can't make money off you anymore, you're out of there. And he got unfinished business. I mean, look, when his entire run through that company was trash. It really was. It was cool to see finally because all the years that I guess that had eluded him. But that WrestleMania match was overbooked to high hell. It was whack. We're not gonna go back through the Seth Rollins of it all and the Vigilante. Okay, which had lows. I know he lows, but this can kind of be like a rebirth. I think two legends who didn't necessarily go out on high notes at all was Sting when it comes to WWE and certainly Kurt Angle.
Mm-hmm.
And those are two guys I would love to see have to end on some good notes because they're both legends. They're both Hall of Famers. Both in two companies at this point. So, Sting is in WWE's Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, they got all that in common. But, yeah, it was just good to see him, man. Like I said, he looked great. But, how he looks aesthetically has nothing to do with how he feels physically. But if he can go and his neck is not kind of hanging on by a thread, if you will, for lack of better terminology, it will be cool to see him pop off some stuff. Not with Darby freaking Allen. And there, no, I'm also in the camp. There's no comparison there. There's no comparison there. The kid literally wants to kill himself. Sting, no, no. So, you know, I think I saw some tease with Jericho. That'll be cool because they know Jericho's up there in age. He's kind of up there in weight as well. They can work out something I think would be a great match because look what he did with Tanahashi. So
that's kind of the hope. We when we were talking last week, not you and I specifically, but the wrestling world, about dream matches, the first one I went to with Jericho is Ken Shamrock. Same age range. Shamrock is in great shape, and they have unfinished business from 1999. So this is kind of one of those situations where you're coming into this perfectly in terms of timing. Jericho has plenty of dream matches, and honest to God, maybe there's a Jericho Sting match from a long time ago, but I don't remember it, so that must mean that it wasn't very entertaining, or at least very good. I'm very interested, though, to see what can be done with Sting in AEW. Marcus, I know you and I both don't want to see him with Darby Allin. That just seems like a bad idea. I think we're in agreement on that. Besides Jericho, what would you like to see?
With Sting, like I said, let's see if he can go in certain instances. Like who else on that roster could do some good with him? See, I don't want to do anything with Cody because I just feel like I'm in this weird space with Cody. Like I know I'm gonna see him, but that doesn't necessarily mean I want to. Also, we got we got legends in the mix all the time, like Arn and Taz, and we got Tully up in there.
I thought you said Tubby for a second. I'm like, you already mentioned Taz.
She's like, you already mentioned Jericho, damn. But no, I don't know. Moxley is kind of. No, I don't know. I mean, that'll be an interesting crossing. Now that I think about speaking of interesting crossings, like something potentially with Kingston just on the mic. I don't know how that work out in the ring, but I would imagine that would be something huge for our boy Kingston.
I mean, that could be interesting. And we are both definitely big Kingston guys here. Like, that's not even in discussion. Yeah. Like we rep the Kingston.
And it's weird because we talked about this all the time with these two particular characters, but specifically with this guy. If we talking about Penta from Lucha or Penta when he came into Impact, him walking up on Sting and that face down, like the real arm breaker Pentagon. Not that I'm gonna do this move and then 2 seconds later the arm's gonna be back working type of Pentagon. Like that OG height of Lucha Underground Pentagon Jr. Rolling up on Sting like I'm the only dude that can rock face paint here and get this type of adoration, right? That type of thing.
See, like, this is what makes me so upset with AEW, because they did ruin Pentagon. Like, hardcore. There was so much there with regards to what you could do with him, but all they did was, dick around and let him do all this dumb shit, and, it's the same shit that we're seeing with Kenny Omega. It took him, what, a year and a half to get back to main event status? Are you kidding? So no, like, I don't have any faith. I'm gonna watch tomorrow. I am. His Sting. But do I have faith that they're gonna use Sting correctly? No, because they haven't used anyone correctly. You got Will Hobbs. You rename him Powerhouse Hobbs. Good. But what do you do with him? You stick him as an also-ran behind Ricky Starks, who, granted, I know Mark's a big fan of. I look at Will Hobbs and I go, star. I look at Ricky Hobbs and I go, where's my dinner? One's a wrestler, the other one's a waiter. And then I look at John Moxley and I go, clean my car. But I like John Moxley. I like John Moxley. I'm being facetious. I'm being a bit of a dick.
Wait a minute. You don't, because I don't think you and Swish even conceived of this idea. You don't think they're stupid enough to put him with Broken Matt, do you?
Yeah.
In any capacity.
I really do. Like 100%.
Oh,
you can expect a Broken Matt Hardy Sting promo. Now maybe it's not Broken Matt, but it might be someone. So, you know, be careful. Like what did Arn Anderson say? Be careful. We're not nice guys. We don't wear white hats. Be careful what you wish for, because you might just get it.
You know what's even weirder? They can't even do like the oh my god, freaking Vanguard 3.0 or something is confronting Sting. Like but we already saw somebody take out Vanguard with a bat, and it was Jericho months ago. So that wouldn't even that'll be a retread. Please don't put him with Broken Matt. Let Matt just fade off into the whatever the Freak Private Party is doing. Just don't. Oh God, he may be in worse physical shape than Sting.
I wouldn't actually even question that. I 100% believe that Matt Hardy is like a bad sneeze from the end of his career.
Oh man.
Now I don't think Sting can go out and even at what he was 10 years ago. Jesus Christ, he was wrestling in TNA 10 years ago at 51. But like, even when he was 46, he could move. You know, you could tell he was carrying a little bit extra around the waist, but he could move. Now, he seemed a little bit stocky, but, you know, maybe that was just the shirt. You know, he used to be a bodybuilder, so I know that he has a lot of mental hang-ups over his physique these days, which is why he wears the shirt, even though he's in phenomenal shape for a man of his age. But like, if he needs to drop some lbs, that's cool. But if he even moves as well as he did, you know, in his match with Seth Rollins, if he can still move that well, we could be into some interesting stuff. But, you know, we'll see. Because, you know, that's all we can do right now is just wait and see. It's going to be interesting. All right, Marcus, any other things crossed the wire over the last few days that you want to talk about?
No. I mean, I guess, you know, congratulations go out to House Lynch. I'm gonna say House Lynch because
you don't want to congratulate the Nazi fuckers, Mr. and Mrs. Nazi fucker. I mean, technically, by osmosis, you know, like AJ Lee said that talent wasn't sexually transmitted, but Nazi fucking, I've done the research, is. Becky Lynch fucked the man that fucked the Nazi. She's technically a Nazi fucker once removed, but she still qualifies.
It doesn't bode well for the kid's future, man.
I will never besmirch a child unless that child is no longer technically a child. They can be your child, but be 20. In that case, I'm coming for them. I'm coming for them like the goddamn plague. But like anything under the age of ability to drive, I'm not going to say anything. But once you get the permission and ability to take the car keys and go out in a 2,000-pound vehicle and maybe kill someone, you become a suspect of criticism. Before then, you're good. Burned down your house when you were 15? Did you have your license? Nope, you're good. You know, start nuclear war, you were 13? You're good. 16, you ding my car, I'm coming for you with a sledgehammer as long as you have your license. But no, like I won't say anything about the child of Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. I won't dub the little Nazi fucker, although that would be hilarious if I did. I will just say that I'm glad to know that they are okay, because childbirth isn't a miracle. It's a fucking goddamn slaughterhouse. People die all the time doing it. So it's not something that people can be like, oh yeah, you know, everything went according to... There is no plan with childbirth. A human being is ripping its way through another human being's cabbage patch. What did you think that was going to look like? It doesn't look like sunshine and rainbows. It looks like Vietnam. Only warmer and tighter.
Exactly. Oh God, the very experience is traumatic. Though on the other end of it, like you said, you do get a life. I am glad that and then that during the pandemic, I would imagine is even scarier. So like you said, congrats to them. Like maybe the only kid we'd ever say something about is the the non-seen child between the phenomenal one and Becky Lynch, which I imagine is somewhere out there, starring in Wrong Turn 6. Whilst my daddy with that big black guy.
It's yours, AJ. It's yours. Is that TNA's It Was Me, Austin?
Oh God.
Like you hope not, right? Like for the sake of all those involved, you hope not.
Oh man.
It's yours, AJ. Someone wrote that. Someone brought that poor woman. What was her name? Not Jane Lynch. Claire Lynch. Someone brought that woman in. So we're going to call you Claire Lynch. We're going to give you this plastic, ugly as fuck doll. And we're gonna make you go out there and say it's yours. AJ, it's yours. Someone thought that.
And this segment was gonna 100% rely once again. Daniels and Cass with thankless jobs.
I don't believe in giving people sainthood for no reason, but those goddamn bastards deserve sainthood. just for the shit they put up with. Granted, it's ironic because look what they're doing in AEW now. Like they're putting up with some shit.
Oh man,
it's gonna be interesting. So apparently, Falaba and Supermex. So real quickly, let's talk about the final resolution card because they're finally announcing matches for it. So Falaba versus Supermex. That's down. We will have a Knockouts title match. Deanna Prazo versus Rosemary. We have a intergender match. Maybe what I'll do is I'll remove the photo. Hang on. Nope, wrong
one. If Fernandez wins that match and finds out what our role of money is, he's gonna regret winning.
I can delete that. Remove. Yes. There we go. Okay. Let's see. I was looking up whatever happened to Kimberly Page. I found nothing, but I'm on the quest. I think she's married again, but I'm on the quest.
Page.
DDP's wife.
Kimberly Page. Oh, okay, gotcha.
All right, so let me zoom in, magnify. Okay, so we got Falaba and Hernandez. We got Rosemary and Prazo for the Knockouts title. We have an intergender match. It's going to be Caleb with a K and the lesser of the two. Tennille, there it is. Taking on Eddie with his weird face paint. That's a thing. That's a thing we're going with, apparently. I guess. And Alicia. Yep. Looking forward to that. We got Eric Young versus Rhino. I was hoping it was going to be Rhino versus Joe Doring, but that didn't come to fruition. That's disappointing. We also have Larry D versus Tommy Dreamer, which was made on tonight's Impact, as well as the already made Ethan Page versus Carl Anderson. And the main event, which is, I think, Rich Swann versus Chris Bay. Although I couldn't find a photo for that.
And we can't forget about the Defeat Rohit Challenge.
Ah, that's the final right.
2020. God, I swear to God, if it's manic, I'm turning it off. I don't mean to do it, but damn it, nobody is asking for this. I'd rather the We Nominal one come out there.
Do you feel like that's become a problem for Impact? Because I just saw Rich from, what the fuck are they called? Pro Wrestling something or other. Pro Wrestling Voice. Talking about how he doesn't really know how or who Impact is for. And I think we've made mention of that before. Like it is a variety show in the vein of 1999, 2000 WB, where there's something for everyone. But the real question is,
Yeah.
should there be? Would you like to see Impact take more of a definitive stance on what and who they're for?
Yeah, yeah, but I think in so many ways, I think what we're seeing is the effect of the continue. We talked about this. This was going to be years. It wasn't going to be months of them trying to really, grab back an audience and garner faith that they wouldn't be disappointed in what they see on screen, but could trust that things will stay behind the scenes. And they've had to kind of establish that um, ever since Callis and Scott D'Amore have gotten there. And I think in a lot of ways they're still doing it. Obviously, this whole thing with Kenny was to drive numbers, which it did, but I still think them trying to build back that audience up has just been a continuous process. And obviously, like you said, they can transition into that, but I think right now they're just going with what's clicking in terms of some of the character stuff. Like I said, we've had to see the company just get back to a place where they had consistency in the damn storylines.
Mm-hmm.
So because it was like it was literally at a point where champions contracts was lapsed and they didn't get it handled until the day of a pay-per-view.
Oh,
Like that's
Bobby
not
Roode.
even like what the freak. So and that was just the tip of the iceberg. We're not even gonna talk about the cash flow positive, huge parentheses on that. So it's taken so many instances, but like you said, I think I would like to see them get back to like a more stern thing in terms of who they're for. But right now, I think they're just the variety shows because they're just trying to pull anybody who will watch. And it's sad because of how long the company's been in existence. But this is kind of the road they've laid down and are having to get back to.
And you're not wrong about that. Like the idea of them just bringing in anyone they can to try to get to anyone they can is very real. I'm thinking about this, and we'll talk about, because there's one more match on Final Resolution, but I want to kind of segue off this real fast. MLW, very much for MMA fans, boxing fans. If you are a combat sport fan, you're going to like MLW. Great show last week, by the way. Davey Boy and Loki in the main event. I know Loki's like hardcore stupid with so many dumb things in the world, but if you can put aside his stupidity, that man can still go, and he's 40. Like, holy hell. He brings a legitimacy to lightweights that you just don't see anymore. But the other match for Final Resolution, Marcus, is Havoc and Neva taking on the Sea Stars of Ashley Vox and Delmi Exo. So that's your final card. I think there's 8 matches altogether. So
Yeah, that's a real life sister, right?
yes, I do believe so. That's what I've heard. And I think I've reiterated. I could be wrong. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh yeah, I know Ashley and Delmy from middle school. They're the best. No, I have no idea who they are. I've never heard of Delmy Exo until recently either. So like Ashley Vox, I've been well versed with because I think she did a lot with Shikara that I remember. So
Yeah.
her I have a better handle on. But yeah, I think they're real life sisters, and I'm all for more women in the knockouts division, especially knockouts tag team division. I'm a big proponent of them. So kudos. I say more to it. And
So that's final.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go on.
No, yeah, I was saying this final resolution is obviously this Saturday. Kind of snuck up on me, honestly. But what are probably like I guess the couple matches you're most looking forward to from it?
I'm always into anything Tommy Dreamer related. I don't know why. Like, it's a weird thing for me. I'm into it. I'm kind of interested in the Rohit Beat Rohit challenge, mostly because I want to know who it is, and if it's TJP in a mask, I'm gonna chuck something. Like, I don't know. It might be a stuffed animal at another stuffed animal. I may not be super violent about it, but like I'm gonna chuck something. Definitely into the Rhino Eric Young match. But I wanted it to be Rhino versus Joe Doring. God damn, that would have been awesome. Eddie Edwards, the mixed tag match with like whatever. Like, I like Caleb. Caleb's a really good hand. He's just not someone who's very comfortable doing promos and doesn't seem to have the range or the. And like, here's the thing. I don't think when it comes to acting or even singing that it's something that people can't do. I think anyone can sing. anyone can act. It's about finding your own range and your own comfortability within that essence to project yourself into a certain asset or a presence or a role or an identity. And I think for whatever reason, Caleb does hold himself back because he does not feel very comfortable with this kind of projection. Like, you can tell he doesn't have the same kind of feel that Tennille has. Tennille plays her role marvelously. But then you have Caleb, and you feel like he's forcing himself into the role, and I don't think that's very natural. Like, the reason why I got into Ethan Page was because he was playing Joseph Park's nephew or cousin. What was his name? Chandler Park. Loved him. He was hilarious because he's very good at emoting. So I'm not really interested in that match because I don't like the new character for Caleb. Although I do like Caleb. I think he's very much. And maybe not to such a degree, because I think of who I'm comparing him to, but he's very much like a Dean Malenko type. Like, you want a guy like Caleb on your roster because he can give you 20 minutes with anyone, and it'd be entertaining. He's not really a dynamic character, and I think that's kind of where things kind of fall apart. But as far as the other matches go, I would say probably my top three in no particular order. Young and Rhino, because I like that old Japan stuff. Oh, that's what we got to talk about, Pro Wrestling Noah. The Rohit, beat Rohit, and I'll say Larry D. Dreamer. But I will put a caveat, even though I don't think it's a main event match, because, like, what? Why? I am interested in seeing Nerd Swan versus Chris Bay. They are truly dynamic, and I cannot wait to see what this match looks like. I just hope it looks different than so much of the other flippity doodah matches we get from AEW and WWE every week. And I know that's hard to do. Yeah. And usually when you run into that obstacle, what you do is you shift gears and you go into some other style. But until we get to that other style, I'm hoping they can at least find a way to really make this their own thing. So, what about you? What are your 3 or 4 matches that you're looking forward to? If you have any. Because I know we have varying degrees of interest in some of these cards.
Yeah, I mean, just on the low end of the spectrum, and I hate to put them on the low end, but just because there's potential for any type of TJP involvement, Rohit challenge. Then, I didn't think about it, but you're right, the Rhino versus Eric Young, because those are both two dynamic guys in their own right, and that can be a slobber knock of a match. I think Larry D, Tom Dream could end up being a sleeper. And in so many ways, depending on what they do. Definitely Deanna Rosemary. We've actually been looking for Rosemary to kind of get back into that title. Now, this was random, and she's still in the tag team title tournament, but I am looking forward to seeing these two clash. And obviously, the main event between Bay and Swan, because I do think they could put on a show-stealing match, but like you said, kind of keep it in a unique way, because like I said, it could kind of just come off as I guess, Ricochet Osprey-ish, if you will. Mm-hmm. And I think they're more dynamic than that. So I'm looking forward to it. But we talked about Bound for Glory. It's in the books. Hopefully, we don't get that version of it in the next year. But these monthly specials have been probably the best things that they put out, even more so than their major shows, which is saying a lot, but at least you got something to look forward to. So I'm looking forward to it. I mean, like I said, it's a solid card, maybe more solid than Final Battle is shaping up to be.
Yeah, Final Battle doesn't look good. Like, I don't know what they're doing over there, man. Like, Rush versus who is it? It's Rush versus Brody King. Like, what?
Me and Chad, like, we just saw the damn Pure Tournament. What happened?
Just went straight off the cliff. Okay, so last thing we're going to talk about, I'm not going to worry about going to get a photo. I stayed up, I think it was like Friday night, Saturday night, to watch Pro Wrestling Noah's big year-end show. Like, they still have more shows, but like this was like a big one. And I saw just a fantastic main event with Go Shizaki and Tenoa? Is that who it was? Fuck, I am outdated on my Pro Wrestling Noah history. Hang on, let's see. Go Shizaki cage match. We're gonna roll this way. Let's see. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Faster. Come on. All right, Go Shiozaki. By the way, Go Shiozaki had this match before we even talked about our wrestler of the year. So look at that. Look at that. I think the match went like 55 minutes. It was fucking ludicrous. Yeah, and it was really good. And like I like when matches go long, but like you can tell that they're not just Kenny Omegaing it. Because like the issue I had with Omega and Okada's matches were like they're like still doing sequences 40 minutes in. And like no, it was Takashi Segura. I think I'm pronouncing that right. It went 51 minutes, but like basically after like 34 minutes, it'd be like clothesline collapse. Then they get back up and a headbutt collapse. It would be like a minute and a half before they get back up. And I was like, I love that because if you're fighting nonstop for 30 minutes, you're not going to keep going sequence after sequence after sequence after sequence. You are going to just be like, listen, dude, I know you want to put me in the face. Like, just put me right in the face. Like, I get it. But can like you give me 2 minutes? And I like that. I like that they added that very realistic. I don't even necessarily need to say a realistic element because I'm pretty sure they weren't acting. I'm pretty sure like at a certain point they're like, listen, dude, I need like 90 seconds to catch my breath. So just like lay there. But man, it was really fucking good. Takashi Segura and Go Shiozaki. I'm probably pronouncing Takashi's name wrong. Really fucking good. And apparently it was broadcasted internationally, not internationally, but broadcasted nationally in Japan as a TV product. So like that would be like an episode of Impact for them. Like, whoo. But I think what they're doing now with Noah, now that they have the new ownership, is that they're going to be doing more international shows, which is only going to raise their profile. Because I watched this match with English commentary, and I was like, I've watched not a lot of Noah, but I've watched enough to have a kind of working knowledge of them. But I don't remember the last time they ever had English commentary. So like, I'm super excited about this because I love Go Shiozaki. I like Noah, and you know Eddie Edwards, Moose. They've been in Noah. James Storm. I'm looking forward to what else we can get with Noah. So yeah, I'm all into this. By the by. I'm just looking at this now. So apparently, it's a rule of thumb that every month Go Shiozaki must die for the company. Because only 2 weeks prior, he beat Takashi Segura on December 6th, just 2 weeks earlier. On November 22nd, he went 42 minutes with Kazuhiko Nakajima. That motherfucker wrestled for nearly 2 hours in just 2 matches. Now, granted, like I know, like Ric Flair and Terry Funk wrestled for 4 hours in a basement in a Texas auditorium in front of 2 people, during World War II's occupation of Poland. I know, I hear the stories, but still, like you go plus 40 minutes in 2 weeks. That's impressive, man. That's so impressive. I would encourage you, Marcus, to check this match out. The one with Takashi Segura. I think you'd be impressed with it if you got an hour to kill. That is.
Will do.
Because I know it's a lot. So that takes us to the end of the show. I don't think there's anything else. So
that's all for me.
We did our time. So we're gonna bid you adieu. Zach and I are back tomorrow night for Making an Impact. Be sure to come in for that. I would say let's do a show Thursday to talk about My Hero, but I got to cover fights on Thursday for Bellator, so I can't do a show Thursday. So maybe what we'll do is next Tuesday we'll double up or make it like an extended show because, man, fucking those movies were so good.
I'm just glad you got to them, man. Like I can, because I know your schedule will be so packed. It's like I got the stuff you regularly watch, you be having to make time for. So I'm just glad you finally got to them because we finally got through. We up to date on the season, so I'm like, Chad, it's got to catch these movies because they're so great companion pieces.
Oh, they are
to the yeah.
Now, of the two, which one did you like more? Two Heroes or Heroes Rising?
Because of the what it meant. I'm going to go with. Damn, that's hard. I'm gonna go with Two Heroes only because it was the only time we really got to see Deku fight alongside All Might, and that
Hmm.
was gonna be the last time, you know, before obviously All for One. So yeah, I gotta go with that.
I, I I like now that's a great reason to like it. But I liked Two Heroes more because I liked the setup of it. I like that they had to fight up this tower and they had to go through all these guys and all these traps and everything. And I loved it. It was, and then you had Uraraka just like, why is Deku talking to a prettier girl? What the fuck? This is some bullshit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This
And
big
then
blonde white chick's gonna steal
like
my man. I don't fucking think so.
we got backstory on All Might with the his number one guy when All Might had regular eyes. Not, not to mention what was the guy, the electricity dude with the sick outfit.
Oh my god, I completely forget about it. Oh, what a dope outfit. Oh, it's so good. Oh, I saw that. I was like, oh, that's gnarly. Oh, that's so. It reminded me of like that. What was he? The Black Ranger? Not the Black Ranger. He was like some like samurai ranger in like space maybe, or maybe it was Zeo. Do you remember that guy? He had
I'm
like a
talking
big green chest piece.
with big green shit. Oh, you talking about the Magna Defender in
Yeah,
the
yeah, that
Lost
sounds about
Galaxy?
yeah, that sounds about right. Like that's who you reminded me of, but like
So
a slimmed down like P90X, DDP yoga version.
that little the dude's daughter, basically a daughter, damn near daughter to All Might. She made them full gauntlets for or that full gauntlet for Deku. I'm like, dude,
That
you need to
erects.
have her make you. Yeah, you need to have her make you two of them full gauntlets so you can have them like every day for civilian scraps.
Oh,
Because
jeez.
you're not always gonna be able to get to your gear, and you can't really be punching like that because now you be using kicks. I'm like, but freaking All for One pulling the long game with the villain,
That was
being a
great.
douche. Oh, so good.
I will say this:
Oh.
Heroes Rising, I thought was I liked Two Heroes more, but what I liked that Heroes Rising did better than Two Heroes is
Mm,
they brought in the entire class. They gave them all
yeah.
something to do, and I thought the
Mm-hmm.
villain. While the villains in both were great, I liked the villain
Mm,
more in Heroes Rising instead because he really had
yeah.
that all for one kind of essence. And like I know you want more, and maybe it's the wrong word, but more diversity in your villains. You don't want everyone to be a Joker, right? You want your Two Faces, you want
Yeah.
your Poison Ivies, your Catwomans, but the idea of this dude being just a stand-in for all for one, I thought was brilliant, and his look was so cool. Oh, I was like, oh man, that's a look.
Dude, and he's the main boss. They almost could have swapped him out for Chimera was putting in work too.
Yeah. The only like the things that I thought
The,
held that back is like Chimera's backstory was like hey, you fight go want to fight with me? Okay. And I'm like, what? That's it? And then like you don't even get a backstory with Mummy, which by the way, you, I this these were Universal monster stand-ins, right? Like you knew that. Medusa, you had a Chimera, you had a Mummy and a vampire. Like come on. I loved it. It was so cool. My
you're
only
literally the
big,
only.
yeah,
Yeah, you're the only person to bring that up, but that's brilliant. Yeah.
I loved it. The only thing I had, like, I love the kids too. Like the little boy who wants to be a hero, and like the little sister who's like punking them out every other week. Oh my god, that was so cool. What a great addition. My only problem was I really didn't like the whole. I'm gonna give you all for one, but it's gonna stay with me. I thought that's where the movie lost me. Like, if they didn't do that, I think it would have been better.
Yeah.
But like it didn't make any sense. But whatever. Like I'm not gonna fucking nitpick it because it's great. Like fucking little your rock was like lifting all the rocks and like about to puke because she's like I got to do like the Deku, and I was like, oh, I love it.
They gave the belly beam dude a Vegeta moment.
Right? Oh, apparently you can now like shoot him out of his knees and shoulders too. Like I'm assuming it's just like he can spread his laser out through his armor and then shoot him that way. But like whatever, I don't care. I loved it.
We got to give a shout out to the real MVP, Kaminari,
Yeah.
for the being the lightning.
I just love that. Yeah, we stuck him out there to be a lightning rod. And he's just like, as he's doing his little thumb thing.
Literally, the only person that didn't do anything was the Invisigirl.
Yeah, and I think we're starting to see that there's a limitation to how you can write her stories, especially in bigger avenues like this. She's not going to be able to come in and hang, and she's not supposed to. I think she's a rescue hero, kind of like where they're building that up to. But
Yeah.
she's kind of, I don't want to say useless, but in fights with super powerful super duper villains, like she ain't bringing much to the table. Although I did like how they finally used what's that the beetle chick with the black eyes and the gold irises. What's her name?
The beetle chick.
She got black eyes, pink skin, pink hair. She's like an insect.
Oh yeah. You the girl with the acid.
Yeah.
She put it in work too.
Yeah, she fucking melted the Medusa chick's hair, and she's like, "Oh, bitch, you gonna die for that?" And I was like, "Uh-oh." And then of course you had what's his name with Dark Shadow. Like that was great. Oh, that was great. And then he finally fucking flips and just fucking demolishes the cave.
that was good.
I might rewatch them
good.
tonight, man. Like, holy shit! Like, I love My Hero, but like, I don't realize until I'm done watching it how much I really do love it. Like, this is one of those shows that I often go back and like listen to the music of and watch scenes of. Like, still to this day, my favorite fucking scene is the whole like, we're gonna make you beg for mercy, Bakugo. We're gonna kill you, and then you hear pizza. Like, this dude's giving like the most vicious monologue. Like, I'm gonna fucking tear you in two, and I'm gonna shove a fucking Roman candle up your dick, and you're gonna scream for mercy. Pizza.
Kool-Aid all my.
And then everyone's like, wait, who ordered a pizza? And then that fucking poor lizard dude, the dude who just worships what's his face, the Stain. He's just standing there like, and then you just hear smash. I love that scene. Like that whole 2-part episode, because like that episode had the rescue, but then the next episode had them rescuing Bakugo as the class rescued them. Those are like 2 of the best episodes, and they're back to back. Oh my god! And I think to myself, and maybe we'll schedule a full on show on Sunday because clearly I got a lot to say about this. The big issue with why I think My Hero works and why I think Dragon Ball Z has failed is because of the fact that there's so much filler.
Yeah, man.
And like it's not to begrudge them for doing like the learning how to drive episode. I love that episode, especially in the abridged version. Like that's great. But like it's the jokes of like like, oh well, he's powering up for 12 episodes. That's legit. Like there's literally like 4 episodes of them just going and then it's like, oh yeah, your move missed.
The longest 5 minutes in the history of anime.
Right?
With
like,
Namek
Jesus
explode.
Christ. Oh yeah, that's right. Namek was And the way Goku did it in DBZ Abridged in terms of how he survived, where he just started pressing the muffin button, made more sense than the actual version.
They improved this. They improved their series so much, and they did the right thing, which I wish they would have did was they ended it with Cell.
Yep.
They capped it off. The boys are bridge like we're not even touching the boo crap. It's too much crap. It's not worth it. Too many damn transformations, fusions, and what have you. All for it to come back to Goku is not worth it, and definitely not worth it. Go through all them episodes for more potential copyright strikes. And just go save ourselves the trouble. They did the perfect ending. It was beautiful, but to come off your point, I also think because they basically did the Vegeta and Goku thing better. Mm-hmm. You realize that when you watch Heroes Rising, like one of the, like you said, we'll get off to it if we do a solo show, but that moment where they did like this image of All Might standing in between the two of them.
Oh God, it's
like
so
you
good.
can rest and beat the villain at the same time. Like you really can't appreciate the evolution of that relationship until you see this movie. And it's like, look, man, I went from like hating you to like, you my measuring stick now. So I can't move if you're not moving. I need you to get on the good foot so I can beat you again and prove that I am the best in the world than what I do in that whole thing. So, yeah, man, it's just you really can't appreciate it until I think it's they do so much better building and towards making you appreciate the climax moments too. That was like season four's whole thing because that started off so slow, and then you get to the point where Deku got the girl on his back and he absolutely washes Chisaki
Yeah.
the way he did. That was just, but you have to build to that. Like if they don't let that girl go in that first few episodes, you can't appreciate that moment. So it's yeah.
That's why the new Star Wars movies failed, because they went right into Rey's super powerful and Finn's, he no longer has PTSD from murdering children as a stormtrooper. Like, really? Like, come on, man. Maybe he didn't murder children as a stormtrooper, but still. But the thing that really stood out to me about that was the compassion by Bakugan. I know that sounds funny, but like when they're about to do the ET finger touch, which I thought was adorable. He's like, are you still going to be able to use it afterwards? And he's all like actually worried about Deku. I'm like, ah! I'm not crying.
It was so good. Like, we got freaking quality tag team action from these two in this movie, man.
Oh, man, it's so good. Oh, it's so good. We're going to talk all about this maybe Sunday. We'll see what Sunday looks like. Because I don't I don't have to cover the Browns on Sunday because they're playing Monday night. So, like, we could do something Sunday. We'll see. If you see an ad on our Twitter, at NERDCORP, at NerdCorp, about some My Hero show on Sunday, then you know it's real. If you don't, then you know we're not doing it. I don't know when it's going to go up. I don't know when it's not going to. Just kind of keep your eyes out. Just mind our business. Just mind our business.
But if you do want to get in our business, go vote. Tell them where they can do that at, Chad.
Oh, yeah, if you want to vote for the Wrestler of the Year, because this is a wrestling show. You can vote for the Wrestler of the Year and all the other categories we got over at realnerdcorp.com. We made it easy for you guys. It is quite literally the very first thing you're going to see once you go to the website. It's right there, top of the screen. And I did that on purpose. And on purpose. It's right there. Bam! Go vote. Go do it. Click on it, realnerdcorp.com. It's taking a second to load because the internet. But once you're there, bam, you just scroll down. You got Wrestler of the Year. You got Most Performer. You got Tag Team of the Year. Indie Developmental Wrestler of the Year. Foreign Company Wrestler of the Year. Mic Worker of the Year. Best Gimmick. Most Improved. Arrival of the Year. Comeback of the Year. Lower Card Standout. Female Wrestler of the Year. Bust of the Year. Female Feud of the Year. Male Feud of the Year. News Story of the Year. Match of the Year. And finally, Most Popular. Somehow Hangman Page got on there because Swisher will never die with his Page just devotion, which I get it. I do. So go vote now. They're up there. You can vote once, and then your vote has been casted. It's that simple. RealNerdCorp.com, top of the page. You don't even need to look for it. There's no / needed. Just RealNerdCorp.com. RealNerdCorp.com. We're on Twitter at NERDCORP, on Instagram at RealNerdCorp. Marcus, you can be found on Twitter at ParadoxKid, ParadoxKid.
That's me.
You can also find him on his other podcast, The True Penny Show, on Twitter as well. I know what I'm doing. At TruePennyShow. I'm such a creature of habit. If I don't keep the cadence, Marcus, I fuck up so hard. I'm dumb. You can find me on Twitter at ChadNerdCorp, ChadNerdCorp, and on the Instagram at Chad's Photo Hut. Marcus, you're going to be picking a woman crusher this week because I have no idea who it should be. But keep an eye out for that tomorrow, as well as all the other things we do on the website. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking us out. Thanks for giving us a chance. Remember to watch more wrestling. And as always, Marcus, take us home.
Good night, me.